Thank you, and thank you for being here. On June the 3rd, what had occurred was multiple shots were fired into an address on Blake Street, and as a result of those multiple shots, a 10-year-old young boy was shot. He was taken to the hospital, and fortunately he is recovering. But as a result of that particular occurrence, many people from the Toronto Police Service were alarmed, as well as the City of Toronto. Multiple resources were put into play immediately to help restore safety within the neighborhood. 55 Division took lead of this particular investigation in conjunction with TAVIS and with a whole host of other specialized units, and I'm very, very glad to say that today, as a result of this work and through cooperation with the community, we have reached a conclusion and we have arrested several people for this particular offense. This is just an indicator of what happens and how successful we can be when community works with the Toronto Police Service in solving crimes to help keep their community safe. And I'd also like to thank TCHC for their help in working with the victim's family and the victim in this particular case. So without further ado, I would like Detective Lindquist to come up and to provide more details on the investigation and for a job well done. Detective?
Thank you very much, Chief. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. As the Chief advised, the investigation, as my team commenced the investigation on June 3rd, when a young child, 10 years old, was shot while in his residence on Blake Street. Immediately, our major crime unit, along with other partners within Toronto Police Service, worked diligently to gather the evidence through forensic means, through different police techniques. Some of the agencies that we reached out to in the community was Toronto Community Housing Corporation. They were greatly of assistance, as well as the City of Toronto Community Crisis Response Program, which helped with the investigation as well as dealing with the needs of the victim and his family and the community at large in that area. As a result of the investigation, we were able to isolate 2 individuals who we found to be responsible for the shooting. And as a result of that, we reached out to different partners within Toronto Police Service Intelligence Unit, Gun and Gang Task Force, Toronto Drug Squad, Forensic Identification Services, TAVIS, just to name a few, and I apologize if I left anybody out. This investigation reached I guess a crescendo yesterday when we executed search warrants and arrested 2 individuals for the shooting. And they're, so the individuals, Jaden Sauve and Jeremy Morgan, are facing several charges in relation to that shooting. And the subsequent search warrant we executed in relation to the shooting investigation, we recovered a quantity of drugs, and Mr. John Federley Brown and Destiny White Campbell were arrested in relation to that drug possession. And everybody's appeared in court today and are going to be facing the charges that we laid. And again, I'd like to thank the community partners outside of the Toronto Police Service, as well as our colleagues within the Toronto Police Service, to allowing us to have a successful conclusion to this investigation.
Any questions?
Detective, do you think this shooting was related to any other shooting or any other violent incident?
It is possible, and we're exploring all the avenues and investigating whether or not they are.
Was the house targeted? What young boy was?
We don't believe that the residents of the address were the intended target.
Can you speak about the nature of the shooting with the 2 people involved? Were they shooting at other people, shooting at each other?
I can't really get into that at this point in time.
How's the boy doing?
He's recovering, yes. He seems, I've spoken with the boy and his family, and he, considering the trauma that he went through, he appears to be doing well.
Did you say you saw anything from surveillance footage? Like, was there anything captured on surveillance? Because I know at the time you were actively looking at that.
We released some surveillance video or some still to the media in relation to a green Hyundai Accent which was helpful in our investigation. And the nature of any surveillance video, I don't really want to get into because it's an ongoing investigation still.
What exactly are the charges?
There are numerous charges. Can I read them out? So, Mr. Jeremy Morgan is facing 11 charges. I'll read them off. It's use firearm during the commission of an indictable offense, aggravated assault, trafficking in a firearm, possession of a loaded, prohibited, or restricted firearm while unauthorized, possession of a firearm knowing its possession is unauthorized, careless use of a firearm, carrying a concealed weapon, unauthorized possession of a firearm in a motor vehicle, disguise with intent, and then possess Schedule II substance for the purpose of trafficking and unlawfully possession or unlawfully possess a Schedule I substance. Jaden Sauve is facing the charge of use firearm during the commission of an indictable offense, aggravated assault, possession of a loaded, prohibited, or restricted firearm, possession of a firearm knowing its possession is unauthorized, carry concealed weapon, unauthorized possession of a firearm in a motor vehicle, disguise with intent, dangerous operation of a motor vehicle, flight while pursued by peace officer, drive motor vehicle without a license, and failing to comply with probation.
How many was that?
That is 11 charges for those two, yes.
And those were the two involved in the shooting?
That's correct.
So obviously, safe to say, Jaden was known to police. He had prior. The other gentleman, Jeremy, does he have a?
Without getting into specifics, he was known to police. Yes, both.
Jaden or Jeremy?
Both.
So when you say he ran from police in this particular incident or something from before?
It was a result of an investigation that was directly related to the investigation, but was at a separate date.
Can you speak just to, I guess, violence and safety in general? This shooting happened on a weekend where there were a number of shootings in the city. Perhaps the chief can speak to this. It was that weekend there were a number of incidents that happened. What is this sort of the status, or just, you know, it's been a month almost or a few weeks since then? And this one really did rattle a lot of people because it was a 10-year-old who was shot.
Yeah, this one did invoke a lot of concerns to a lot of members of the community. You know, we're a city of 2.8 million, and violent crimes do occur in the city. It is an incredibly safe city. When we have these shootings, one of the things that we always do is we look at what resources do we need to put in place for successful outcomes. And today is a classic example of that, where I went to the scene myself and had a look at exactly what was going on, and was able to talk with investigators to find out what they needed, and also the direction of the investigation, where it was going. And so really it is a matter of working with the community, making sure that police officers are in the right places at the right times, and we get great results.
Are there any steps in this particular housing complex that are being taken, or any changes that are being made in terms of, I don't know, beefing up security?
Well, we put our resources where they're needed, and a lot of it is intelligence-led. So based on information that we do receive from the community and also from other investigative techniques, we are able to determine exactly what resources we put in place. We try our best not to over-police environments, and we try to make sure that we do what is necessary to keep our community safe right across the city.
Chief, can yourself or the detective outline a little bit more about how exactly that you determined who the two people who did the shooting, like exactly how they were caught?
You know, and this is where it gets a little bit sticky, because, you know, this has to go before the courts, and anything that we say right now winds up and can be used in a prejudicial way against the people that are charged. And so it's important not to give up too much evidence concerning what was led to the final conclusions. So it's one of those things where we can't really provide all that information.
Did you say they already appeared in court, Detective in College Park?
That's correct. They've already appeared in College Park courts.
Chief, the people who are charged, I mean, the age, is that troubling? I mean, it's relatively young people who are in charge.
It doesn't matter how old you are. If you are going to possess a firearm and use a firearm at any age, it's a concern to us. It's a concern to the community, and we take the steps from an enforcement capacity, but there needs to be, other entities involved in helping some of these young men in making better decisions and giving them better opportunities.
Chief, can we talk about the new raids today and whether or not those are under Project Claudia?
Well, this is, as I've stated before, it's an ongoing investigation. It's illegal to sell marijuana unless you have a license given to you by Health Canada. I've never minced my words on this, so this is no shock to anybody. I said that the investigation would continue, and this is a result of what I said. We're going to continue. If you have dispensaries and they're open, your chances of going to court and being charged and being convicted are very high. So I strongly recommend that you stop selling marijuana in dispensaries right now because they're all unlawful.
Can you tell us how many dispensaries were raided today and what charges are being laid? Or
Well,
how many?
I believe 4 have been, search warrants were executed. Tomorrow we'll have more definitives. I don't want to speculate on all of the charges, but it's important to know that this investigation has nothing to do with personal use. This has everything to do with the people that are entering into this for the sole purpose of making money. They'll use it under the guise of medical marijuana. It is a falsehood because the narratives that I hear each and every time, people go in and they basically say, what's the strongest stuff that you got? Has nothing to do with medical marijuana. It's just about a matter of making money unlawfully.
Chief, so you go back to the charges for John Fiddler Brown and Destiny White Campbell. How are they related to the first two?
So the charges that John Fiddler Brown and Ms. White Campbell are facing are directly related to the investigation because they were found in possession as a result of a search warrant we did in order to advance our shooting investigation. That was done yesterday.
Is that sort of an accidental discovery then of these other 2 people and the drugs?
It's evidence that came brought in front of us as a result of the search warrant executed and that we acted on.
Do you know the relationships between the other 2 people?
We're still investigating in relationships.
But the second 2 people, did they have anything to do with the shooting, or they're just charged with drug-related? Not just, but they're charged with drug.
Again, this is still an open investigation, and we're going to be analyzing all the evidence we have in order to discern what exactly the relationships are or their involvement, if any, with the shooting.
At this point, are they charged with any gun-related charges, or are they charged with trafficking and drug-related charges?
They're only facing drug-related charges.
How many drug charges?
I consult my notes. John Federley Brown is facing 2 counts of relation to drug possession and possession for the purpose, and Ms. Campbell is also facing the same 2 charges. Sorry, White Campbell.
Were either of them known to police prior to being apprehended?
Mr. Federley Brown was.
Chief, one more question for you in regards to the new SIU release about Kyle Upjohn being charged. If you could comment on that as well.
Oh, no, I would not comment on that. You as a learned journalist knows that when the SIU invokes a mandate, we're not allowed to talk. So by law, I can't talk. Thank you.
Chief, a question for you just quickly about the apology last night. I just got a statement from the 519, which is the community center in the village. They sort of said the apology wasn't sufficient. Can I just read you a little piece of it? It says, apologies mean nothing unless they accompany the fundamental and sustained commitment to changing institutional practice, including police behavior in relation to its impact on marginalized and racialized communities. So I just want to know your response to some of the backlash that's coming from last night's apology.
Well, if anyone that was there yesterday knew exactly what I said in the spirit that I said it in, the vast majority of people knew exactly what I meant. And if you watch CP24, you would have got the full story on what was said. So I was very clear with what I said and why I said it. And this is about moving forward. And anyone that wants to move forward with the Toronto Police Service, I embrace them. Thank you very much.
There's also just quickly, Just wondering, there has been some concern just over the word regret as opposed to sorry. Just wondering if you can just, for anyone who feels concern over that.
I'm not going to make a non-story, story out of a non-story. I was very clear with what I said yesterday, and we're moving forward. Thank you.